Greetings and welcome back to the channel. Quick video here, and by popular demand it's a top 5 video, and this one will be my top 5 utility knives, small utility knives. Basically not a bushcraft knife, that kind of do-it-all belt knife which is unobtrusive and not huge on your belt and can basically get away with doing most jobs. Nothing brilliant, like a bushcraft knife will carve, will light your fire, do most things, but it doesn't excel at anything else, like cooking and things, just Scandi grind, just doesn't. So these knives now are my top 5, current top 5. I may change my mind in another year, who knows. These are my current ones. In no particular order, I'll show you. Right, so the first one, it's quite a new knife for me, but I do like it, and that is the Fallkniven H1 in 3G. See me using this a few times. Quite a high convex grind on it. It's a 3G steel, but I have taken this on the grinder and I have now 90'd the spine. I find this a lot more comfortable to use than an F1. The handle is much nicer. I know it's meant to be a hunting knife, but this is a good all-rounder. If you were going on a big trip or something and you wanted something that wouldn't let you down, I would say this is a good knife. Doesn't really excel at any kind of woodwork. Cooking wise, yeah, that grind is a bit thick for cutting your potatoes and your carrots, but it's still better than a Scandi. Holds an edge. Excellent steel is 3G. The only thing it leaves these down is these ugly but functional sheaths. And you know, if you want to, you can put ranger bands on them, put your sharpening stone, although that's not going to need a lot of sharpening. So that's the first choice. Really like that. Good knife. My second choice now is going to be a bit controversial because it actually has got a Scandi grind. The stainless Garberg. And when you get these, they've got a micro bevel. I've got rid of the micro bevel because I really don't like micro bevels. But as far as I'm concerned, this is not a Scandi bushcraft knife. Yes, I know some of you are going to go, yes it is. I don't think it is. This to me is a utility knife, especially in stainless, because it will not rust and you can do all them dirty jobs, you're cleaning fish, you're cooking, you're skinning, all that kind of stuff with that. And with that micro bevel on it, it's damn sight easier to sharpen in the field if you need to than a Scandi grind. Now last week I brought my carbon one out, and my pal and Nick and myself were here, and we were basically just chatting. I didn't film anything. Well, Brad made an appearance, that's right. And I sat here while me and Nick were talking, and I carved 10 feather sticks. Let me tell you something, that handle is nowhere near as comfortable as a nice Scandi grind with a custom handle. You know, my knives, Mark Hill's knives, Roger Harrington's knives, Ben Offord's knives, even Jack Lowe, you know, they're all comfortable to hold for a long period of time while you're carving. I don't find that very comfortable. But that is a good, bash it all, do everything utility knife. Aftermarket sheath by Toby Hobby. Both my Garbergs are in these. The other one's got a ferro rod loop on it. This one hasn't. A controversial choice. Next one is an expensive one. The Melanica Poco. I love this knife. I don't use it that often, but I do really like it. Excellent cooking knife. Does reasonable feather sticks at a push. Cuts like a dream, and it's CPM 4V steel, so it doesn't need much sharpening. Not a lot I can say about it really. It's just a pleasure to use. It's beautiful. It's very well made and well finished. Lovely knife. Now when I bought it, it came with 2 sheaths. It came with this one. I removed the dangler because I don't like them little danglers. I use my clip on my belt. So it came with that, and it also came with a Kydex knife sheath, neck sheath. So best of both worlds. Yes, an excellent knife. What's next? And the next one is a tried and tested knife I've had for years, and I've had 2 of them. And this is a Cold Steel Master Hunter, and this one's in VG San Mai. Oh, this is a fantastic knife. I can't say enough about this knife. As a do-it-all knife, this is a winner. This is a brilliant knife. Far bigger handle and more comfortable than a Fallkniven F1, and I do like the Fallkniven F1. I've got 2 of them. I got an F1 and I got an F1 Pro. But this thing is very easy to sharpen because it's got that secondary bevel, and I know the DBK boys call it a V edge or something, which I don't agree with. As far as I'm concerned, it's a secondary bevel. Very easy to sharpen. Perhaps it's a little bit on the soft side, but a very, very good all-rounder. The comfortable handle for prolonged use. Non-slip as well. A lot of people slag these handles off and don't like them, but I do. My choice, my opinion. This comes in a Kydex sheath with a belt loop. Not Kydex, Secure-X plastic, but I've put a Kydex dangler on there so I can clip it on my belt. And there's some Ranger bands on there. Excellent knife. If you want to do it all knife, which doesn't cost the earth, that's your man, definitely. And my last choice, let's say these are not in any particular order, but my last choice is this one, and this is the Fallkniven Idun. It's beautiful. What else can you say? It's got a comfortable handle, a little bit slippery, but it's a little bit beefier than the F handles. And it's just beautiful. What else can you say about it? And I've done a review on this, and I've hammered this through logs, and it's just great. Absolutely beautiful knife, and a good all-rounder. And this has got a sheath from Toby Hobby as well. When I bought a second hand, it had hardly been used, and it came in another sheath, which it was really nice, but it wasn't the original sheath. But I've got that one now anyway, and that suits my needs better because I can hook it on the Castrum dangler, which I occasionally use, which is actually on my belt now. Yes, stunning knife. Well, out of my collection, and I'd say I've probably got another 5 similar sized shaped knives, and they are probably my top 5. No, they're not probably, they are my top 5. But if I had to pick one out of them, I would pick the Master Hunter in San Mai. Because me and that knife, well, I've got a carbon one which I've had since 1990 or 91, and it's just a fantastic knife. I don't use that anymore because I use the stainless one, but I really rate that knife. The only strange thing is with the Cold Steel Master Hunter, some of them turn up with skinnier blades than others. Now I did buy one last year. I bought one in 3V. Thought, great 3V, brilliant steel, super tough, love 3V. When it turned up, it was probably about 2mm thinner than my other 2, and this one and my carbon one. So that's got quite a bit of girth to it. It turned up, yeah, it must be 2mm thinner. It was deeper, and it was really thin around by here. There's no way I'd be battening that. I don't care if it's 3G, it was just too thin. So I sent it back. Didn't like it. Not even for the collection. I thought it's a knife I will never use. I'll stick with this one. top 5 over with. I don't know which one I'll do next, probably in about a fortnight. Hope you enjoyed me sitting here rambling on to you. Till the next time. Oh, remember that thumbs up. I always like that thumbs up. Ta-ra. An afterthought. When I was looking through my stuff, I actually found my original tin from when I was about 15 and I'd made a survival kit up. Obviously there was only just bits and bobs in it, but the tin was covered in camo tape. And when I look back at it now, oh, how stupid I was when I was 15. Everything I had was covered in camo tape. Obviously not my cooking pot, that would be silly, but my survival tin was covered, so I couldn't have done anything with it but carry stuff in it. And I do remember having 2 coffee sachets in there as well. I can't exactly remember what else was in there, but I remember having 2 coffee sachets and years later opening them up and they just crystallised and they weren't worth a damn. But how things change. But I probably made that kit up when I was about 15. So, you know, you got to forgive me for that. But yeah, covered in camo tape. What a clown. Ta-ra. Oh yeah, and another thing. That video I watched with Les Stroud, most of the survival kits he looked at were crap. You know, if you put them all together and threw a load of stuff away, you'd probably make up one half-decent kit. But then he just went straight on then to show his kits. It was a blatant, absolutely blatant selling ploy. His kits were okay. They were expensive for what they were, and you were paying for the pots they were in basically. But the 4-man survival kit was just ridiculous. It was huge, and I think, you know, if you were 4 guys together going on a trip, why would you carry that? I think everybody should have their personal survival kit. It's not essential because at the end of the day your pack and all your gear is your survival kit. But I do think if you were going somewhere pretty nasty out in the middle of nowhere on a river trip where you could lose your stuff quite easily in the current, I do think perhaps a little kit on yourself would be a good idea. Yeah, I think so. Fire heavy mine, because if you had a Dunkin, you would really want to light the fire quick to dry off. Oh, well, that's just my little bit. I'm off. Ta-ra.